Hey guys, it's Mike here, and in this video, I want to discuss something that fans have been wondering ever since the introduction of Gohan at the start of Dragon Ball Z and that section of the Dragon Ball manga, which is, how exactly does Gohan's hidden potential work? Because as we've seen throughout the course of the franchise, Gohan continues to get stronger and stronger and stronger, despite the fact that he neglects his training, and yet many fans are left scratching their head. Why does this keep happening? How is he getting so strong, and where is all this reservoir of power even coming from? So what we're going to do right now is get into that with my special guest, and I'll introduce him right now. Okay, so join me here today is someone you've seen on my channel in the past, and his name is
MJ from MJX TV. Thank you for having me, man.
Oh, so you actually pronounce the X now?
It's come or go, bro.
Yeah, it's like Hunter x Hunter, my favorite series starring Kadabuga and Gon and all the characters that people hate when I pronounce their names.
Miram.
Yeah, Mary Sue. Oh wait, no, that's Dragon Ball Super. But yeah, how does Gohan's potential work? This is something that a lot of people have wondered ever since he was introduced as a little kid, originally 3 and then changed to 4, in the Dragon Ball manga. And that is, why does Gohan have so much power built up and pent up within his body? Not just that, but why does it seem like every time Gohan taps into his power, he's actually even stronger than he was before? Because really, if he has potential is typically reserved in, stories and just, the general definition of that's the maximum somebody could reach. But it seems like Gohan's potential is always, growing, going up, and moving in that direction. So MJ, in terms of Gohan's power and how it works and why that continues to happen, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I guess we were teased pretty early on with the hybrids, right? I mean, going all the way back to before Nappa and Vegeta even made it to Earth, just through the communication device, they were able to kind of put together Earthlings, Saiyans, or Science. They were able to kind of determine that, when you mix those bloods together and you can produce a child, this offspring who's half and half, man, just crazy, incredible potential. And we see that throughout the entire series, even leading up all the way to the latest installment of Dragon Ball Super. Now, it's pretty much told to us on multiple occasions, and I think people really do underestimate this. Even Piccolo during his training was already saying that you're going to surpass me and your father. Like, way back when Gohan didn't even know how to fight yet, right before he threw him into that mountain, which, yeah, great dad.
Absolutely.
And then leading all the way into, again, the latest installment, Dragon Ball Super, where Vegeta's kind of reciting those same words that Piccolo's recited, if he were to just train, we wouldn't compare to him. And what I've always found interesting about Gohan, and I think you're probably the best person to answer this since you're such a huge Gohan fan, it's very much hinted that it's almost like it's just him. I'm not too sure if you've ever gotten that. Like, don't get me wrong. We've seen Trunks have these spikes in power. We've seen future Trunks unlock new forms. We've seen Goten, doing some crazy things that even shocked Gohan. But it's like it always comes down to Gohan. It's always like him specifically amongst the hybrids that nobody could mess with him whatsoever if he were to take this seriously, at least to the extent that Vegeta, Goku, and Piccolo do. But I think there's just a huge evidence of all this information that just always goes back to him possibly being the strongest among the entire Dragon team if he were to train 24/7, and no one can really compare to him. But what are your thoughts about him compared to the other hybrids? Because I've always felt that it's always been like him. Like, they've always made it a point to point him out.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to that thing you referenced before about, the discussion between Vegeta and Nappa on their way to the Earth, I actually did talk about that in a video recently, talking about how it was always meant to be more than one Super Saiyan. And the very first person we're ever even referenced to possibly be a Super Saiyan is Gohan by Nappa, when he's saying, to Vegeta, oh, he's a Super Saiyan, right? Maybe we should spawn a flock of our own hybrids because of how potent they are. So So going back to just that early, the hybrid itself does seem to work in Gohan's favor, but Gohan's character specifically, as you mentioned, has always been that one, the strongest potential of anyone. And I think that there's a couple reasons as to why. Number one, it could be that for whatever reason, the genetics of Goku and Chi-Chi just mixed even better than Vegeta and Bulma when it came to future Trunks comparative to Gohan. But even then, like, we do see that Trunks and even Goten achieve Super Saiyan before Gohan. However, with that being said, neither of them has that hidden pent-up potential. And I think that, again, the other reason I wanted to reference is something that I never really hear anyone talk about, which is that whereas Bulma is a normal human being, Chi-Chi was not. Chi-Chi was the daughter of the Ox King, who was the student of Master Roshi, who was one of the most powerful beings on the planet, who taught him to manipulate ki. So we don't know who Chi-Chi's mother was, but maybe she also had powers too. Maybe Chi-Chi inherited these powers from him, and in turn, not only do we have the mutant technical class Goku, who's like, you know, the low class, but he's able to rise above everyone, but also the power of Chi-Chi, which blended these two powerful characters together in what ended up being Gohan. However,
I will cut in real quick to add on to your point. I know you and I probably aren't the biggest fans of this recent change, but with the more recent developments of Toyotaro's Bardock's character, that could also play a reason as to why Gohan might be so special, because we kind of see Bardock pulling out some incredible things, kind of hinting more towards that the Son Goku line is actually pretty special for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And for all we know, Goku is descended from the original Super Saiyan Yamoshi, even though in the Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods movie, the silhouette kind of looks like Vegeta. But the thing is that for all we know, Vegeta is also descended from him. I mean, how many Saiyans were there on the planet? You know, like thousands of years? There's probably going to be a lot of mixing going on there, right? So the thing is that, you know, it's very possible they're both in that sense related, and that's why it was easier for them, Goten, Trunks, and so on, to develop this genetics, because it was kind of like Yusuke when he transforms into the Mazaku, the atavism, you know, the atavism, which it's, you know, going down through the genes until someone strong enough is to inherit it. And Gohan's the ultimate example of this, you know, pun intended with ultimate, to where he is somebody who, you know, I think in a lot of ways not only has amazing genetics, but the reason why Gohan has hidden potential rather than it always being out to the forefront is because Gohan does something that the vast majority of other Saiyans do not do, which is he takes it easy. He doesn't train constantly. Gohan, as a result, always has pent-up power that he can't access because the fact that he's never training his full potential nonstop to do that. Of course, in the manga version, it's a little bit different at points, especially in the Dragon Ball Super manga. However, when it comes to the actual Dragon Ball manga itself, the original one, we see that this always happens, to where Gohan, you know, he doesn't train at first when he's a kid, and then he powers up when he goes raging out against Raditz and is stronger than him. Then, what do we see? Well, the next thing that happens is on Namek. Gohan does train a little bit, but it's still not all the years of training that like Goku did, like Vegeta did, like all these other Saiyans. And what's happening? Well, when Gohan powers up, he gets his potential unlocked by Guru. And so you'd think that that's the maximum he could do until he starts to get Zenkais, because he gets so beaten up by Recoome that he gets his neck snapped and Goku heals him with the Sensu Bean. And so when that happens, Gohan's power goes up, but so too does the amount of power he cannot access, okay? Same thing happens when he's fighting against Frieza. After that heal from Recoome, he's able to power up to be able to beat up 1,000,000 power level Frieza in his second form. And then immediately after he gets healed again, after that form is crashing his skull in, you know, and everything like that, what happens? He's able to overpower third form Frieza. Frieza has to use his full power just to deflect that blast at Gohan. So again, every time Gohan gets healed, that power inside that he can't fully tap into doesn't come out until he gets mad, until the Cell Saga. And then what happens there, Gohan actually does get fully trained by Goku. They go into that time chamber. He trains with him to become Super Saiyan and to bring out as much of that potential as possible. It's not until, again, he fully rages out against Cell, destroying 18, or 16 in this case, not 18. She was inside of him. And then everything else along those lines, he rages out and taps into it at will. And then, again, what does Gohan do after this, MJ, for 7 years? Nothing.
Doesn't do anything, man. To the point that you and I have talked about this in many videos at this point. Whenever he's about to get into a fight in the Buu Saga, Vegeta, Goku, whoever else is there, they're ready to just go off on him about how he's been slacking off, how he doesn't have it anymore, he doesn't know how to fight anymore. Oh, he should end this fight within a few seconds and he's not doing it. Why is that? Oh yeah, I just remembered he didn't freaking train. So it's like constant reminders of that. And then of course later on in the Buu Saga, we see him get a little bit of training with the Z Sword, which I do think is a little bit underestimated, going off of what he was being able to do after just a couple of days. I don't know how the time works and the
Buu Saga is such a quick event, but yeah, as you're saying, another dimension could be 10 years and 5 seconds in our plan. Obviously not, but still.
We just don't know, right? And then once he gets his potential unlocked again, we get to see all of that for what? 7 years, as you said, just all come out, right? Just ready to just blow up. I mean, fill to the brim, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is with Gohan, this continues to happen, whether you could say it's bad writing or just Gohan's character, every single time Gohan gets that huge power up, he stops training and he loses it, only to then get it again, and then to lose it, and then to get it again, and then to lose it. And every single time he gets mad, every single time he trains for 2 seconds, he gets it back and gets even more upper echelons of power until finally, as you could see in that thumbnail, as you could see in Dragon Ball Superhero, he achieves Gohan Beast, because he sees that Orange Piccolo is getting beaten up by the main villain, because of course they weren't going to let him beat the main villain. And then Gohan gets really mad when he's channeling his power, and he goes Super Saiyan, Rose Ultra Instinct, and Gohan Beast, and he's able to take all those punches from Cell Max, who is, I guess, stronger than every other character in the history of the franchise, except for, ones that they'll say afterward are still a million times stronger, like Beerus probably. And then what happens? Well, he is, again, potentially the strongest character in the franchise as they keep hammering it in. Gohan, if you just try, you could be the strongest. Yeah, but but Dad and Vegeta will take care of it. Don't worry, Piccolo. And then he takes care of it because, he's forced to for once, which, you'd think that he'd be more like, I don't know, future Gohan and actually realize maybe I should train because every time I don't, something horrible happens. But I guess he keeps forgetting, or, he's too busy studying bugs that turn Super Saiyan, basically. But I even made a little...
Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. I even made a little graph that you could see. I'll show right now on the screen. MJ's just going to have to imagine it, but don't worry, he was in the video anyway. So let me show it on the screen. And basically, this is what happened. Whenever Gohan is not training, you could see the arrow that's going down that says usable power, and then you could see the other arrow that says hidden power. MJ and I talked more about this on how much power did Gohan lose between Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super on my channel. Check that out. But that's kind of how it is. Gohan's hidden potential is always increasing. It is kind of like a constant rate potentially, or an exponential rate, where it is increasing over and over and over again the less he's training. However, his usable power goes down. So in the arc with Frieza, when he shows up, Gohan, when he taps into his full power, is more powerful than when he was Ultimate Gohan in the Buu Saga, because time has passed. However, with that being said, he can't harness it anywhere near as much, and if he was Ultimate and had kept up his training, he'd be way more powerful than Gohan was during the Buu Saga, and might have actually been able to do something to Final Form Frieza, or really First Form Frieza, without, falling out of his chair. Basically just getting his butt handed to him until Goku and Vegeta showed up. So really, when it comes down to that, that's kind of how I feel like it ultimately works. Ultimate, of course. That's how I feel like it's Super Saiyan 2 works, so that doesn't work as well. But, the point of the matter is that Gohan, his power is always increasing, because he's the ultimate genetic mutant of Saiyans and humans combined with two powerful parents who simultaneously stops training, and so his body builds up that power, awakened by his emotion, awakened by intensive training in special dimensions and with people who actually know what they're doing, and then in turn, he is able to unleash it and grow more powerful than really any other fighter around him, regardless of what special training they have, because the power of Gohan's BS plot poles are better than anyone else's.
You could say the beast is unleashed.
What is he, Brock Lesnar or Batista now? That's who should play him.
I will say before we end this, to kind of add on to this, that could probably explain why GT Gohan really ain't nothing to write home about, because it is mentioned in the Perfect Guides that he does train. And maybe you combine that with your theory of that's why usually he has these bursts of, as you call, ass pull powers, but this burst of just sudden strength because it isn't because he trains and all that gets built up. And then maybe even add in your other theory, longtime theory of Saiyans in dire situations matching the strength of the person they're fighting. So it's like, combine everything that we just talked about in this video, the lineage, him being a hybrid, everything, you combine all that together, and it guess does kind of explain, just why in certain arcs he has those huge ass increase, So
the moral of the story is slack off and don't try until the very last second where you really need to, and just keep procrastinating, and then you'll do the best possible. I mean, that's how Toriyama wrote the manga after all, so it definitely lines up with that. But okay, guys, let us know your own thoughts down below in the comments. Check out MJX TV in the end screen, the description, and just check out his channel. He has some awesome videos, even beyond Dragon Ball. I know that there's other things that exist beyond Dragon Ball, but you wouldn't think so on YouTube sometimes. And make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future Gohan. No, not in the future Gohan, because he's dead. Bye.
Yeah, and you better subscribe.